Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Mike. You are watching The Horror Toy Box. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I got another haul video for you guys, some figures, some Blu-rays, and even a couple VHS. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to crack right into this. I'm going to start off with the Blu-rays as usual. First we got the Creepshow series Blu-ray, Season 1. This was released on Shudder. Very cool to have. I love the modern touch on a classic franchise. Highly recommend you checking this out. Some of the stories are a little bit outlandish, but you know, it's definitely worth seeing. Creepshow, the series, Season 1. Next, got Maniac. This is a movie that was recommended to me by Phil's Creepy Videos. Go check them out if you haven't. Thanks, Phil. This is one I actually really like. It's a limited edition with a lenticular cover, 4K. I keep thinking about picking up that box set with the statue, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's likely gonna happen, but yeah, Maniac. Highly recommend you checking this one out. Very cool things in the works. I can't really speak about too much involving this movie. Maniac. Next up, Gremlins. This isn't one of my favorite movies, but I do love it and appreciate it and respect it for what it is. And there was a sale sticker on here. I think I paid like $10 for this at FYE, Steelbook, Blu-ray. The only thing I had before this was a DVD, so I didn't want to pass up the upgrade opportunity. Gremlins, classic. Next up, Monster Squad. This movie wasn't bad, it's just, I feel like I would have appreciated a lot more if I would have seen it when I was younger. I feel like it's geared towards young people more than anything. It's lighthearted, it's not really horror. But yeah, if you like that or you want to introduce your kids to horror, maybe this isn't a bad start. The Monster Squad, check it out. Next up, Prince of Darkness. This is a John Carpenter movie. I didn't watch it yet. I bought it because I am a big fan of John Carpenter, and this is one I keep hearing about being underrated and recommended, so I picked it up. I'll let you guys know what I think of it when I watch it. Prince of Darkness. Next up is Christine, another John Carpenter. I have 2 copies of this because I originally had bought this one, and very shortly after I realized there was a steelbook for a really good price as well, 4K Ultra. So I bought this just to keep it in the wrapper and unopened, and I just popped this one open and watch it. Christine, classic John Carpenter. A lot of people speak of it as one of his best. Christine, highly recommend you check that one out if you love John Carpenter. Next, some more Carpenter is Escape from New York. This is definitely a classic. It's one I hear about a lot. It's one that's highly praised and people love it. Escape from New York. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely got that John Carpenter vibe and feel going for it, and I do enjoy it. Escape from New York. Check it out if you haven't. Next up, American Werewolf in London. This is a definite classic 80s movie. I had high hopes when I got this. It's not my favorite, but I do really like it. I appreciate it for what it is. American Werewolf in London. Very cool special effects. Highly recommend you checking this one out. Essential. American Werewolf in London. Next up, got Microwave Massacre. This is an early 80s, pretty outlandish horror movie. The cover I really loved on this one, so I just went ahead and got a copy of it. I do believe this is on YouTube, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It's actually entertaining and pretty good watch. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Mike, to Microwave Massacre. Check it out. Next up, Savage Streets. This is one that has been on my list for a little while. Linda Blair and Linnea Quigley are in it, and based off of that and the preview that I seen, I really wanted to grab it. This is the limited edition slipcover. I really enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't consider it horror. That's just me. I don't think it is considered horror, but it's definitely cool. It had a good 80s feel to it. Good watch. Recommend checking it out if you haven't. Savage Streets. Next up, one I haven't seen until recently. Picked this up at FYE, limited edition steelbook. It was like $10. And I am personally a fan of Rob Zombie. Definitely can't confuse them two. I do like Rob Zombie's work, and this is the only one I haven't seen and I don't own. So I'm really glad that I had the chance to pick it up this time around, especially for the price I did. A limited book, you know, it was a good opportunity. Lords of Salem. It's definitely a little bit different for Rob Zombies. It's not like his typical, but it's worth checking out. I liked it. I honestly think I prefer this one over the movie 31, which is at the bottom of the list for my Rob Zombie movies anyhow. This one's not one of my favorite movies. It's Pet Sematary, but this is a Mondo series, FYE exclusive steelbook. I thought it was really nice. It has like a plastic slipcover over top of the steelbook. It comes with a Mondo collectible poster, and it's just overall the presentation on this and the quality and feel is too good to pass up. It was on sale for $10 to $12, somewhere in that ballpark. And this is an essential movie, so I figured if I was going to buy it, that was the perfect opportunity, because this is quality. Pet Sematary, check it out if you haven't. Next, these two VHSs that I picked up. First is Critters. I'm not really a VHS collector. I don't plan to be. There are a few that I would grab, like the Basket Case series, or maybe a few other, but not much. But this one I just saw, I thought it was cool. It's all sealed off, has like a flap to open it up. Just gave me that feeling. So I picked it up. It was like $5 or something like that at the local shop. Critters. This one was sitting right next to it, so I grabbed this too. Troll. Troll 1 and Troll 2 are worth checking out if you haven't. Highly recommend it. Troll 1, Troll 2, outlandish 80s horror goodness. Definitely recommend. Next, gonna get into these figures. First, we have the Creepshow series Creep from Neca. This is a really nicely done figure. I wasn't planning on picking it up, but I seen it at the local shop and I just couldn't resist it. It's got a good feel to it. It's lighter and smaller than the typical Neca retro cloth. From what I can tell, it's a little bit cheaper as well. But yeah, cool. It gives you that overall comic book feel to it. It's a nice piece, nice figure. Highly recommend it if you're a fan of Creepshow. A fan of Creepshow the series. Neca Creep. Next up, this is an old one, but just one I always wanted back. It brings me back to the beginning of my collecting days. It's not particularly valuable or great looking or anything. It's just one that I like. The Chucky retro cloth. I do want the Shout Factory one back. The only difference is it doesn't have the clamshell. It's just this little box, and he's got the normal face, you know, with no expression on it, as if he's just a doll, not the angry face. But as you see him like in a store display, this one, it just brings me back to the early days of collecting. That's mainly the reason I picked it up, and it was super cheap, somewhere around $20. Next up is John Nada from They Live. This is a cloth figure from Neca. I absolutely love They Live. This figure is really well done. It's sculpts look great. It feels really nice in quality. It's pretty accurate to what it's supposed to be. John Nada from Neca. I went ahead and picked up a second one. Yeah, the focus. Yeah, I just think it looks good, and I thought it was worthwhile to have two of them, so that's what I did. I snagged an extra one. Here's that other head. They did a good job with these. Recommend if you haven't picked it up. That is Nada from They Live Neca cloth. The Frank is on its way. I got my shipment notification a few days ago, so if you pre-ordered that one, check your email. It might be on the way as well. Next up, I'm not a big Alien collector, but this one I used to have, and I always liked the way it looked with the exposed skull in there. I heard somewhere that they used the human skull for the front of that, like the look of a human skull. I'm not sure how true that is, but it definitely, I could see it. It looks really cool, the way it looks. I like this figure. It's a neat one. And I think I paid like $20 for this as well. It's super cool. Found it at a different local shop than the other ones I just showed you. Alien Xenomorph. Next up is the Part 2 Friday the 13th NECA retro cloth figure. This is one I always loved. I think it looks really cool. Has a nice presentation. It's accurate to what it's supposed to be. Funny thing about this one is when I went ahead and bought it off of eBay, I got a message on my Instagram a couple minutes later from the person that I bought it from, telling me that this used to be mine. So about a year or so ago, year or two, I sold this to that person and just happened to buy the same one back. It's pretty funny. Glad to have him back. Retro cloth Jason Part 2. Very cool figure. Highly recommend that. These things are getting rare and expensive, and get them now before they're really, really scarce. Next up is another classic. This is the Toys R Us exclusive NES 8-bit Freddy Krueger. Very cool piece. I am glad to have this one back. I love the way it looks. It has a nice presentation. And of course it's a retro cloth. I love retro cloth figures. They just have that look and feel to me that I love. And the clamshells especially. And they just seem to gain the most value and desirability, and they're just classic to me. They give me that feeling more than anything else. Next up is the Toys R Us exclusive 8-bit NES cloth Jason figure. This one's really a classic. I remember when I first ever got this figure, it was like one of my first, what I called a more expensive buy. But it was only like $90 at the time. But yeah, it's a cool one. It's a classic. Absolutely love it. Quality NECA. Very cool piece. Highly recommend these cloth figures. You know, this one's a super cool one. It's definitely nice. Next up, it's the last piece in this video, and it's just the only distinctive dummy in this video. We have the Halloween 3-pack, the 3 kids. I had sold this a long time ago, and really glad to have it back. This one's in excellent condition. I ordered a case from CGA. This should be here any day for it. This is number 36 out of only 60 made. Just great box artwork on these. I really just like this set a lot. I think Martin and Distinctive Dummies really knocked this one out of the park. It's a super quality set. Love this one. Can't wait to put it in that case. And yeah, keep it on the shelf this time around. Anyhow, thanks so much for tuning in. keep an eye out for future videos. I got a few things in the works, some statues, and of course a couple more haul videos in the near future. USPS is super slow, so bear with me. I've been doing some online shopping, and I gotta wait for things to come in. But I'm getting these videos out there when I can. Can't wait to review some of these statues and this bust I got coming up. And who knows, you might see some 1/6 sooner than later as well. Anyhow, thanks so much. Please check out my Instagram at The Hard Toy Box. I'll leave the link in the description. Also, don't forget to check out the Funhouse Emporium. We are running slow right now, but that is definitely subject to change sooner than later. I'll leave those links in the description as well. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.